This is Just on Amazon on Thursday, May 3rd, 2018. And it looks like we have some selling coming in today, or this morning, So if we open down here, looking like it's about to, then it's below yesterday. I think it's below the day before too, which means it's very possible to continue doing some more selling. The next level we have, or the next line we have below here is at 1540, and it would be great to get down there, pull back a little bit more, some more rest, something. So let's get into the day, and actually gaps up slightly and is a buying candle. But what's really cool with this candle is it came right back up and stayed below yesterday's low, and now this is your range to then get in with a move below it. So you could get a trade set up with a trigger at 1557 and a stop at 1565, and that's $8. So 2R would be before 1540, which would be great. 1540 would be maybe around 2.5, something like that, almost 2.5 R. But you can definitely lock something in as it's moving down. So, so we have that trade set up, and then you get this upper wick. So you got to move your stop up a little bit higher, and a trigger down here a little bit more. So that's a little bit wider. That's still about a 2R trade down to 1540. So maybe here you're triggered in if you got in on that move, and it, you kind of had some long wicks in either direction. Looks like some indecision. You're still within the range. The bodies are in the range of this selling candle pre-market. But you got some nice volume. You got the volume back, similar to previous day's closes. If you're not in, that's good, because these are such wide candles that, you want to get something that's a little more decisively selling. Even this candle you could get in here with a stop up here or something like that. But there's not much, even with that high, maybe have a stop a little bit higher, 1566. That'd be, somewhere around the low of yesterday. Anyway, I would wait for some smaller candles. This actually being a buying candle. The next one breaking out bullish with a close on the 5-minute above some pre-market levels. It's like, okay, well, maybe it's going to rally up a little bit higher or come up into maybe the 1572 range where we had some lows yesterday and then broke it, so maybe we'll retest back up to 1572 and then roll over. Pretty close. Okay, so got up to 1571, have some selling come in. Oh, that's nice. Right there, 1572. Okay, 1571.91. You are right in this range of yesterday's lows, and then it broke it, retested here. You're right into that range with that candle. It's a selling candle. Open and close really close to each other. Let's see, by about 13 cents. Okay, that's a really good reversal at a good location, and I would love to take it bearish here with a stop up here, or maybe, get above that wick. That'd be like the only other thing. So maybe your stop is 1574 and your trigger bearish is 1567. And so, that's, what did I say, 1574? So that's $7. So 1560 is 1R, 1553 is 2R, and then 1546 is 3R. That could be 3R, and you're still above 1540. That'd be like 4R to get down there. So it could move down there. It's totally possible. That's our next line. So if you get that set up, stop up here, the only thing that could happen is it comes back up to 1578 like it did yesterday, retesting that level. But, we did fail that yesterday. So, okay, that's our setup, and you're in. Or you're waiting for an actual close, so now you're down here, but it's still, 2, 3, possibly 4R in a move. Okay, if you're in, that's looking a little iffy. All right, that could actually move up. It could continue. You got some bullish candles in here and only a couple bearish ones, and then this candle. You break below those lows. Hopefully you got in here by here, and you're moving. So now you're actually up about half an hour, and it just continues. So down here, you're up an R. You can move your stop from here to here. to reduce your loss a little bit. Okay, it just continues down. So now you're moving your stop even tighter. Maybe here you're locking in break even at least. Come down a little bit closer, trailing your stop a little bit more. Here's quite a bit of selling candles, and it's got some really good bearish momentum. We lost all this bullish momentum. We had a squeeze that fired bullish that didn't actually pan out, so it's just collapsing here. We have a really nice retest of yesterday's lows, so this is kind of a little bit of a longer retest, into this level, and we're going bearish. So continues lower, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 candles in a row, 35 minutes of selling. Prior to that, you only had 2 bearish candles. You've trapped everybody in here that was buying. When you got down here with this candle, so a couple of these, a little bit lower. But we still have a little ways to go down to our target around 1540, or at least take some more profit off at 1546. I think we said 1553. 1553 was 2R, so you might be out at 2R if that was your trade. That was your setup. Get in bearish here, stop up here, 2R down here. Excellent. There you go. If you locked in maybe an R, now you got to stop above, a strong bearish candle that you don't want to see taken out. So maybe you got the other one here, and so you'd be up in the position to lock in something there. So you got some pausing going on here, some indecision with this candle. Some buyers coming in. Don't get into making a higher high here. So, you could at this point get a stop at 1557, or you could get in, have a trade set up to get in here, going bearish 1550 by 1557, something like that. That could be a good setup here too. And then you're wicked into it here and hoping that it continues to roll over. We paused enough to come into the 5 exponential again. And now we've got a move down into 1547, and it's looking like a pretty large Morningstar reversal here. So not quite down to the 1546 price, I think. Yeah, 1546 would have been 3R. So not quite down there. Definitely get your stop here. If this goes sideways a little bit more, you're going to drop your stop a little bit lower, maybe above that bullish candle, something like that. Or if it goes down a little more, you're going to just get out at what would be 3R. So we're buying coming in. Looks like it could just reverse here. We'll give it another candle and then move. Okay, so with this candle, probably got stopped out. If you had your stop anywhere in here, locked in some gain, locked in a good move here. And, this could really just continue to roll over, or it could rally. But we were getting out at a good spot for some profit. So now we're just throwing some wicks, upper wick, lower wick, bullish candles in a row. So 20 minutes of buying in here, and starts to actually roll over again. Comes down a little further in here, puts in a lower low on the day, and comes back up to a similar place we were just at. Another great pause. This is a great place to roll over and have a move down to the low of the day. This would be a great 2 to 1 move if it does roll over, and it does. It starts to, and then some indecision right here. So it's like, okay, indecision here. I don't want to wait to see what's gonna, if that's gonna move lower or if it's gonna go higher. So I'm gonna put my stop, right above it, or maybe right here, lock in, break even. If it continues lower, great. I'm gonna get out right here, just another R lower, something like that, from to get my 2R. That's a great indecision candle, and you've lost all your bearish momentum. You've got a squeeze forming. This looks like a double bottom that kind of started to roll over again, but maybe a triple bottom. It could be a head and shoulder with shoulder and a head that are really close to each other, but the neckline's kind of wonky because you'd have to wait to like way up here to do something with the trade, and we don't want to do that. So here we are. We're actually going bullish now. We're we had this indecision, did not break bearish. We're out of the trade bearish. And maybe you're getting something set up to go in reverse. So this candle, it's just a great rally out of that bearish indecision candle that did not continue lower, which we wanted to see. So there's nothing really down here except your 1540 price a little further below. We're somewhat in no man's land, but you could get in bullish above here with a stop down here, kind of reverse what you had. So 1553 by 1548, something like that, I think. Or no, 1554. 1554 by 1548, something like that. It's like $6 for risk, and it does continue. It actually rallies pretty quickly. Up here, you'd be able to lock in, more than an hour and a half, something like that. We haven't even triggered the squeeze yet, and it just continues to move. Now the squeeze is triggered, continues to move. This would have been, I think, a 2-hour move through here, getting in around this candle with a stop here. You've trailed up your stop to this indecision candle likely. This could continue higher to get to the high of the day. If it gets to the high of the day and you want to lock in your gains, go for it. If it continues, it could come back up to 1578. This thing could really keep moving because we had a nice pause here. Not really a consolidation, just a pause, a reversal on the 5-minute. This is a accumulation phase here that actually broke bullish. So if your stop's down here, it starts to reverse, have an evening star reversal, a little lower than the area we were looking at bearish before. You can move your stop, if it's here and it's in your roll, to move it up to here. It's kind of tight on a stop that, this could chop around a little bit more. We still have some more bullish momentum, and it actually continues up a little bit. Now this starts to look like a double top. You were up into this range definitely here, contending with some of the post-market prices in this area here. But we got a nice buying candle here, a nice lower wick. So definitely have a stop here. If you wanted to start looking for an aggressive exit, you could move a stop here. But I'd keep it here. Just, be a little bit conservative. That's at least an R gain. And a nice buying candle here. So we want to see it continue in the next 10 minutes. And it does. It actually rallies, makes a new high in the day. If you're still in, great. Move your stop below here or below here. And we're looking now for a continued move up to 1578. And now our bullish squeeze is worn off. We had a little bit of drop in momentum, but these two candles here look tweezer-ish. They're similar size, and you could have your stop here or even up here now after a little bit of a flag, and now looking for it to continue higher. And it just kind of chops a little bit. So this looks like a bit of a consolidation, a little bit of a triangle here, throwing some lower wicks, upper wicks. Now this, if it does go higher, you're trapping some of the people who shorted here, the same place they were shorting yesterday. This likely stopped out some people who had held on for whatever reason or weren't watching the trade. Maybe they got stopped out up here now. So, that could be some of the buyers, exiting to close their position, buying to close their position. And now it looks like we're going to roll over. So, had a nice move up here. I mean, if anybody had bought, or set up a conditional trade or what's it called? A bracket trade where you can go either direction. I mean, they're massively up with, that candle being the trigger bullish stop here or trigger bearish stop here. Phenomenal move here. But for this consolidation, looks like, okay, we wanted to continue bullish. It didn't. It's breaking down. Okay, we can either wait for it to come down to, maybe the higher end of the channel, the upper end of the channel, come back down to that and then rally, or wait till it comes down to these lows, buy it again, or get in bearish. I mean, it did break down some support here, so you want to retest, and then on the retest, you want to see some all right, so here's a retest. You want to see it pause a little bit or get in right here, bearish with a stop up here, looking for it to roll over right away, and it needs to, again, move right away, and instead it continues and rallies. So just some chop in here. I mean, this is actually, I thought this was the S-curve, and then it rallied, and then it was going to reverse some. But, this could be a bigger S-curve buy here off the 21 exponential rally. And I think we're got another while in the day here. So we'll see how high we get. And here's some more indecision. Looks like it's still trending higher. If you had a stop here, now you moved it here, and now you've probably moved it here. These two candles look, again, tweezer-ish. They have some similar lows at 12 cents away from each other, so it's pretty close. And you'd want to see, again, see this continue higher, see it move up. So got a little less than an hour left in the close, and it just kind of grinds higher. Grinds higher until it does this and actually sort of reverses at this high on some smaller candles. But it's getting pretty close to the end of the day, and there you go. There's the end of the day. So let's zoom back out, look at the 5 minutes. So we did make a lower high, a lower low from the last few days here. We're retesting back into this range some more that we had broken out from. I mean, from these highs, look at this. From these highs here, those are the same highs we were holding if you look at where the cursor is sitting. I'm just being rough with my setup. So this is at 1563. You know, that was the level here. You know, this day, we sort of bounced there and then broke through it here. This day, you know, I think I described this as, I describe this being like the back of some animal in a snout. It's just a really large snout now. It doesn't work. The animal analogy doesn't really work too well. I was looking at this, trying to figure out, does this look anything similar to what we saw a couple weeks ago with just some sideways move? And I didn't really see a good channel coming in. Maybe a slight downtrend channel to see how this is moving. But we had some moves on the 5 minute that could have worked out today. If we zoom in just the day here and then go look at, okay, this candle getting triggered in on the candle at 9 o'clock, so a bearish move, and then this candle, so what was that? You're triggered in at 9 o'clock, and on this one you're triggered in 11:30 bullish. So let's go look at the 11:30 bullish on the 1575 call expiring tomorrow. A great place to have a risk reward. You know, you could have bought at 250 with a stop down at 2, which would be really tight, or stop down at 150, and that would have rallied. I mean, you could have just held on to that move if you held on to it and made a few $100 risk on that. And if we look at the put, we said 9 o'clock. So 9 o'clock would have been getting in for maybe $5 with a stop down maybe below that wick at like 350, or if you did it based on these candles, then maybe it stops at 4, or you know, you risk 150, quickly move your stop up here to make it your regular R amount, and then that just totally rallied hard. So you know, if you got in at 5 and a stop at 4, let's just say that's the setup, and it moved up and you got out at 13. I mean, 5 up to 13 is, you know, that's an 8-hour trade. That's huge. Not quite 10, but you know, it's all right. You can see the indecision here, or the consolidation here, that ends up just breaking down. Oops, not studies. So I'm gonna click back to the calls. So really hard to trade the open. The quick move here was better to have waited till you get some smaller candles. And this, I mean, if you have a $200 R, I mean, it's so easy to trade this really closely with the absolute zero, where you just want it to go higher. You know, it's at a good place that it could, and then you know, you're risking the whole risk value with the option that you're buying, because it's, again, absolute zero. The worst case scenario is you lose an R, even if, you know, the whole thing just tanked. So anyway, that is a look at some of the options that you could trade. And aftermarket today looks like, you know, with this pullback and a bounce here, we're just kind of chopping around this area. We'll see if the 1578 price comes into play again tomorrow, and or if this is just another rollover and we come down a little bit further down to 1540 price there. So we are still right around the top of this triangle here. If you extend these lines a little bit, and it's still possible to, you know, rally from here and continue higher, but this sideways move is great for just some pausing to come in and let some of the moving averages catch up, including the 100 down here, wherever it's at now. I keep forgetting to put that on there before I start the video. So, there's not much going on in this range. If we were to sell down some more into the lower 1500s, you get into this candle, the high here at 1529.42. So I mean, that's quite a ways away from where we're at. If it does roll down some more further, just some emptiness in this space. Now if it starts to rally, starts to move higher off the exponential, zoom in on a closer time frame than the daily, maybe the hourly or the 30 or the 15, to see, okay, what's going on with this, because it's just hard to see here. This could be pictured as a V bottom, but with just some consolidation here, and it'll just be interesting to see how this moves tomorrow, and if we'll have a big move, small room, some indecision, what's actually going to happen on this rate. So hope you enjoyed. This is Justin AMZN.